Good evening and welcome to Fine Print. I'm Perry Singh. Well, the big breaking news coming in at this hour is that the Chief Executive Officer of Boeing, Dennis Muilenburg, has resigned today. Boeing has named the current chairman, David Calhoun, as its Chief Executive Officer instead, and the President, Calhoun, will take office on January 13th next year. The company has also said that the board member, Lawrence Kellner, will become the non-executive chairman of the board with immediate effect. Muilenburg has been under pressure following the grounding of the company's 737 MAX fleet after two fatal accidents. Boeing's board of directors had decided that a change in leadership was necessary to restore confidence in the company moving forward as it works to repair relationships with regulators, customers, and all its stakeholders. And well, joining us for this big breaking news is Mikey Kay, former RAF pilot and investigative journalist, live from Bangkok, Bangor, I beg your pardon. Well, Mikey Kay, thanks very much indeed for talking to us. Your first thoughts about the resignation of Muilenburg? It seems more like he was asked to go, and this, of course, under immense pressure from the FAA.
Yeah, I think Muilenburg's resignation has been on the cards for at least 6 months. That the handling, Muilenburg's handling of this severe issue has just been completely woeful right from the get-go. Right from the Lion Air crash, both crashes, both the Lion Air crash and the Ethiopian Air crash, which had significant fatalities on both events, has been handled incredibly appallingly. The maneuvering characteristics augmentation system that is at the center of both of these air crashes and the certification process of the new system and the recording of the new system inside the documentation that goes along with the aircraft, the 737 MAX. Everything has just been incredibly appalling from the outset. And so Muilenburg's handling, his leadership, his reticence to ground the 737 MAX after the Lion Air crash, his reticence to investigate the culture of the way that the certification process works and the influence that Boeing has over the certification process inside the Federal Aviation Authority and the Department of Transport. That is the center and has been at the center of this massive issue for such a long time. And I think his handling of that has just been completely woeful.
Well, absolutely. And Mikey Kay, the timeline for Boeing's return of the 737 MAX has also been delayed. And, just about a few days ago at the FAA hearing, Muilenburg, in fact, said that we've been humbled. But that wasn't enough, of course, to convince the regulators that he was doing enough as far as the Boeing revamp was concerned.
No, it absolutely hasn't. And one of the big issues through this entire investigative process has been Boeing have been focused on the MCAS, the maneuvering characteristics augmentation system, and they've been trying to effectively take the investigation and focus the investigation on what was wrong with the equipment and how the equipment can be improved to ameliorate such events happening in the future. But it's much, much bigger than that. This has always been a huge cultural issue. And it's been an issue of Boeing having influence over the certification process, which it shouldn't have. Effectively, people from Boeing lobbying and bullying those who are required to certify the equipment at the FAA level, and that should have been investigated right from the get-go. The MCAS is but a symptom of a much bigger problem, and much bigger problems that could extend outside of the 737 MAX. And I think that is where the new CEO who's going to step in needs to wipe the slate clean and needs to look at every single aircraft that Boeing have on the line that is requiring certification processes from every level to equipment all the way up to, larger, more strategic issues. And there needs to be a completely new approach and a completely new slate when it comes to moving forward. And I think if the new CEO of Boeing does that, then that will be the beginning of restoring the confidence, not just in the certification process, but most importantly in the customers.
Well, absolutely. They need to wipe the clean slate and start afresh, and that would certainly start with Muilenburg going. Thanks very much, Mikey Kay, for joining us this evening and sharing your thoughts on what this really means for Boeing's future.